Oh no, here we go. It's live. We're live.
Are we live
We are
now?
now live.
Hola.
Cool. Well, I think we're still waiting to see if a couple more people are going to join us tonight. But we can at least start introducing ourselves. Um, is that Sean? Sean, are you also on?
I'm here.
Hi. Hi, Sean.
Hello.
Great. Well, Sean, you've already met Samantha and I, but a new member of our team is Patrick Fiedler. He's in the red shirt, and he's leading the mechanical design in Houston right now.
Yeah, so I've been leading mechanical design here for OpenGB. We also have a boss here.
Right here.
Boss, do you want to talk about some of the work that you're doing too?
Yeah, I'm working on building a viable pellet extruder design, and I've recently built some of the parts of the prototype, and we'll begin assembly, and hopefully we'll have something for people to see this week.
Very exciting.
And if you'd like, I can show you.
Yeah, definitely.
He's getting it together.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing needs to be kind of.
This is reflection, I think, or is that earning?
What?
I
Do we
think
have sound
boss's
separation?
reflections. Well, let's add the mic in.
I'm still missing one other piece, but this is essentially what it looks like. And then, I had a what's it, sheet music. Oh, there it is. And this is where the J head goes, right here, bottom.
That noise is a whole different machine.
And I may have shown you this before. I didn't like this little hopper here, so I went ahead and I built a larger volume hopper extruder. This is essentially what it looks like.
It's awesome.
This is where the J head goes, right here, bottom.
That noise is a whole different.
You said you needed the design bigger today, right?
Essentially.
Are you guys getting some sound reverberation? Boss? Kay just asked you a question.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh,
Are you guys getting some sound?
nothing. We're just trying to let you guys know you guys are muted.
We're getting some sound reverberation here. We keep hearing a boss over and over again.
Okay. Well, it's about 7:10 now, so we'll probably just get right into it and get started. So it's been a really fun month. This month we've had a lot of progress on an idea of how we want to organize all of our online repositories for the design work. Patrick has made a lot of strides in, he has a concrete idea of what he wants.
I'm just gonna mute.
on top of that,
I think we lost him.
yay. Sorry, we lost you.
You're back.
Oh man, can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, we lost internet. So we got mid-talk when I lost connection.
Yeah, we're getting some sound reverberation, but it seems to be gone for now.
Okay, thank goodness. All right, well, we'll just see if we can make this last as long as possible. So Patrick has made a lot of strides in the mechanical design, and I am excited for him to talk about that today. A couple other things. We hired a Python developer out of Australia who just started a makerspace in Australia. So he's really interested in exploring how you can use Gigabot and how to make 3D printing the overall experience way better for anybody using 3D printers. So he has a lot of ideas already, and he's started work on that. And then Levi is our other collaborator who's working on the PCB design, and he recently looked at a couple of things. He might join us. So I'd love, Patrick, if you want to just start and talk about what you've done for the filament base and how you've tested it in the office and the design works that you did and a couple of the prototypes you made to get to where you are now. You're muted. Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
first and foremost, a lot of people were interested in bottom loading filament and having a system for that. And traditionally, we've had filament spool rods, where there's a rod that goes through the spool, and then you can get your filament off of that. But we wanted to make it easier to change in. Can you hear me now?
Yes. We can
Okay.
hear
So for a bottom loading filament system, we wanted a system where you could change the filament in and out pretty easily. So we wanted to get rid of the actual spool rod that goes underneath, and we wanted to make sure that spool rod was gone. So what we did was we put ball bearings, like little ball bearings and mounts that would mount on the frame, and then we'd have a shaft that goes across so that the filament spool could just roll on those shafts, which are in ball bearings, so those are rolling. So you literally just set your spool in and take it out, and you just, when you set it in, you just feed it up a line going to the extruders, and it should be a really slick system. I've made a prototype here in the office, and it works pretty well. So I'm planning on putting that on OpenGB so that that can be done. And a neat part about that design is that it allows for the whole base part of the Open Gigabot to be enclosed. That way the filament area can be like enclosed and that can stay dry, which for a lot of nylons and other things, it's very important that your filament stays dry uh, so that you don't get bubbles in your print. If you want to look to Katie's screen, she's throwing up some pictures of the system that I devised.
Patrick, you're muted on accident, I think.
I was muted to wait for you to show the pictures. I'm getting some major
Yeah,
reverberation
do you guys
still,
see my
unfortunately.
screen? Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay, sorry about that.
So you can see there the ball bearings with the shafts that allow the filament spool to rotate freely. So it works really well with different sizes of filament. The only thing is if you have really small, like 1 pound rolls, then if you have small 1 pound rolls, you might need to unscrew the blocks and move those closer together, and then it fits a little better. But it should be, there may be a marking system where you can decide where you can put the blocks. So these blocks for this wide of a spool, that's in the works. But it should be adjustable and able to accommodate a lot of different spool sizes. So I'm pretty happy about that. And the room for the spool, we designed for a massive spool, like the biggest one we had in our office. So we're assuming there's no larger spools out there. So you should be good for many sizes unless you're printing like hundreds of pounds of plastic at the same time. Also, to talk about the hood a little bit, on top we are planning on having a half hood, so it will open up to about halfway back, and we're still devising the system on how the hood's going to work. We may change it so that the sides also lift up with the hood, but we're working on that, and we're working through the design. So the design up here is one of the current designs that we came up with, but it may change, and we're still looking for feedback on that if anybody has any.
Yeah, and a couple other things that Patrick was looking into when we were designing the filament base was how it affected the overall height of the machine. And so he did a lot of research around the office, figuring out what a comfortable height was to use a touchscreen interface, and how you'd actually want to use your machine at different heights. So we even talked about enclosing the filament. I'm not sure if you touched on that yet, Patrick, to keep debris out.
Yeah, and so yeah, we're planning on having the bottom part enclosed. You can kind of, in the rendering, it's not fully enclosed yet, but there's a top and bottom panel on it. So we're going to have that fully enclosed just to keep the filament dry, and perhaps there'll be room for you to store other filament down there that's not in use. And that can stay dry too. You can have desiccant or some water-absorbing material in there. Take the water out of the air. And then we're thinking for access, we're going to have folding down doors, kind of like a post box door, on either side, the front and the back, and that's the way you would access that enclosed chamber.
Got to keep the cat
So
too, right?
that's the enclosure idea there. Working forward, a couple ideas that we're going to implement are a linear rail system. We're looking into that. Linear rails, for those of you who aren't informed about that, is that they're kind of like these sliders that are precision. So you have a little mount that would slide up and down the rail, and it's based on ball bearings. And it should be very, very smooth and very accurate, and then you won't get problems with the V-groove wheels sticking or whatnot that we've had before. So we're going to investigate using those for all the axes to replace the V-groove wheels. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. So just a general sense, what are you working on for the next 2 or 3 weeks for the mechanical design, and what are your priorities?
So some of my priorities here are to work on the enclosure system, work on how the paneling will go on for the rest of the Gigabot, how the hood, finishing up the hood design, making sure that goes smoothly and it's in a way that can be easily made, because we can't just have some crazy hood design, but it should be similar to what we have right now. Also, we'll be working on the doors. We're having a couple doors for access on the front, on the bottom filament section, so planning those out. We are also going to be looking into we're going to be looking into the side panels and support mountings. And then after that, we should be moving on to preparing the internals, making sure the bed goes in there well, adding motors and what to our prototype. So start to get closer to the finalized design.
Awesome. Patrick, we just had another backer join us here on the call. Julian, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my name's Julian. What do you want to know?
Just a little bit about why you chose to back the project and what you're looking to get out of being part of the community.
Yeah, well, I backed because I'm really intrigued by the design. I need a bigger printer, and I'm interested in doing lost PLA glass casting for the most part.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Samantha and I are over here in the Austin office. And Patrick Fiedler is explaining his mechanical design and what he's doing to work on that in the next month and the progress that he's made and some of the improvements that he's made on the last design.
Yeah, I've been watching already. I just didn't realize I wasn't sure how to get in there. I have a quick question about the school he was mentioning, the big school. What size is that you were designing around there?
15 pounds, the largest option that's out there right now, but it's also a design that we hope will work for larger schools. And Jeff also if you want to introduce yourself and just talk a little bit about what you do and what you're looking to get out of the community.
And did you say Jeff?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So I'm the IT director at Universal Fiber Systems, which is a plastics extrusion company. And we have one of the original Gigabots, and then of course we have two of the new ones coming also. And we look forward to seeing how good our material that we make here works in these machines.
Okay, cool.
I fixed my reverberation problem, so I should be able to hear well now. Just to introduce myself for those who just joined, I'm Patrick Fiedler, and I am an intern here, and I'm currently working on the mechanical design. So taking input and ideas from what we've been working on before, and so far I've worked on the frame and got frame finalized. I've worked on a bottom loading filament system, where hopefully you guys can see the presentation screen where you can kind of see that there's shafts on roller bearings so that the filament rolls pretty easily. And I've also been working on enclosure for the Open Gigabot so that things can stay nice and dry, keep the moisture out, and also enclosure for the filament to protect that from bits of plastic and dust and also keep it dry. And I'm working on the hood design.
Thanks for that overview. There's one other backer on here is Sean, and he's been really engaged with the community. Sean is an engineer, and I'd love if you want to introduce yourself to the other two backers, Sean. Feel free to.
Hi, I'm Sean. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Sean Fitzpatrick. I'm from small
You're
town
quiet
southern
there.
British Columbia. Yeah. Is that any better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. And I'm not an engineer, but I do have a long background in product design and development, project management, and so on.
Awesome.
And I'm basically just, I've been watching 3D printing for a decade or so, and basically this is my first step into the field. What it?
That's great. Yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, it's just awesome to have everyone around a table together. We're just excited because we're actually hearing about how this product is going to be used, and so it really helps us to understand that and keep that in mind as we make our decisions. But yeah, so Patrick will be working on this for the next month, and we hope to have the first beta bot built within, well, not the first beta bot, but the next iteration with these improvements built in the next month. So primarily, Patrick is doing a lot of prototyping right now, and a lot of the new changes that we're doing, we're constantly getting feedback on. So we hope to share that with you guys as it develops, and it will all be going on to WeWolver as changes get made. Hi, Patrick.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. This is Patrick Finucane, and he initiated the OpenGV project. So he's the brains behind the original vision, mechanical, and the electrical improvements, and the software improvements. Is that Ernie?
Yes.
Yeah, Ernie is in the office out over there. Patrick, a couple of our backers are watching and have joined the chat, so we're all just going over the mechanical changes that we've been working on and what they are going to be using their 3D printers for.
Cool.
Awesome. So does anybody have any questions about the work that Patrick Fiedler is doing?
I have one.
Sure.
I don't know that it's a huge deal, but it just seems that the shafts that you have could perhaps be larger. Larger diameter, your speed that the shaft has to turn at to match the speed of your spool is going to be slower, right?
Yeah. That's a perfectly valid concern. And we thought of that too before we made our first prototype with about that size of rod. And we did make the prototype, and we found surprisingly that despite the small size, it does spin pretty well and doesn't hinder the filament. It does spin pretty fast because of the ratio, but it does work pretty well, and it's pretty smooth. There's a video I made of that. Hopefully they'll get like a video of me testing that, and hopefully that can be shown at one point. But in the future, if we get any problems, we'll investigate making those larger, and that could help with that. But for now, it seems to be working out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Another thing to note about the overall design, with the bottom loading filament, we to accommodate larger spool sizes to make sure that if you get a large, like 15-pound spool for something, to make sure it gets in there, we have a little more clearance down below, which means the overall height of the machine increased slightly. The height at which the top of the frame, not including the hood, but like the hood door opens and then the bar that you reach your hand over is about 52 inches off the ground currently. So that we interviewed some people and tried to find a comfortable height, and we found that height would work for most people. How do you all feel about that height? Is that something that concerns you at all?
Sorry, what was the height again?
The height to which the top bar is, not including the hood, is 52 inches off the ground, and that does include the height of the wheels too. So you have to reach 52 inches up to get your hands in the machine underneath the top hood. But we know that's a tad high, but also considering our design is that we are going to have front opening double doors on the front. That will be your main access to the bed, primarily, we're hoping. And we're hoping the hood will only need to be used in the case that you need to do some work with the extruder, mess with some of the settings there, or change something. So hopefully you can do most of your work through the front doors, and that height won't be a huge problem.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome. So the two other large aspects of the project are the electrical design that we're working on and the interface, the touchscreen interface for the printer. Patrick and I, other Patrick, Patrick Finucane and I, had a call the other night with James Stewart, who is in Australia, and he's a Python developer who owns Makerspace, and he's going to be joining the project to help accomplish the remainder of the Python code for using tkinter. We were evaluating which GUI kit we want to use to program the interface, and basically that just means I'm sure Patrick can explain this a little better than I can, but in Python there's two things that you work on. One is the framework and one is the side that you interact with. And they kind of need to be designed together, but at the same time you can do them separately and always change the platform that you're doing. There's always that option. But we are using tkinter because it's open source licensing and it comes with Python. So it's the most standard version of a GUI kit that we could use. So that was our starting point with it. And so he is, we just sent him a Gigabot to prototype and play with, and he's getting it this Monday. And he will most likely be on the next Google Community Hangout call, so you guys can all meet him. But what he'll be using is the work that Patrick initiated, and then Mike Battaglia and I, Mike was trying to join this call, he might be watching. We had a couple of technical difficulties here tonight. But he and I have been working on a user stories document that maps out how you use an interface, and we've been creating sketches of the wireframes, and we're developing those around the way that people interact with their 3D printer. So we want to make sure that all the buttons are in the right place and that it's most accessible, easy to use interaction as possible. And so we're just prototyping and playing with that and working directly with him. And so any feedback you guys have about Python would be helpful at this point, but right now we're just kind of gearing back in to getting him up to speed with where the project was. We're really excited to have him involved.
Also, if you want to keep track of the software development, I posted over there the Bitbucket repo account, so you can see the software change in real time. So you can see that it's been kind of static for a month or so, but then hopefully it will start to pick up again as James steps in. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. And we're also looking to add it to GitHub as well, so that we can build a better way to fork projects. And I think Mike Stewart, one of the other backers, will be probably watching the video later, but he has a lot of ideas on how we want to organize our files for open source repository coding and all of that. So we're closely listening to that feedback as we document everything and focus our organization efforts. Yeah, so the next item is the electrical design. And so the PCB design is also, we're adding a couple new features that were planned out for the original design, and we're just putting them into the new PCB layout. A couple of these things are motor fault detection, and a USB hub, and one more is the potentiometers for the motors. I think is that right, Patrick?
So digital potentiometers, which is basically just means you can control the motor current through the software instead of doing anything manually. So currently, right now, on a lot of the motor drivers, you have to have a little screwdriver to adjust the current. So we're switching that out so that you can do it through the software.
Yeah, yeah. And so with all that, we're exploring a different power supply that's called ATX power supply. And we are designing this electrical box that will incorporate the touchscreen with all the electronics inside so that you can easily hack the electronics from the front of the machine. And the power source is separate so that it takes up less space on the front of that machine. But we'll be sharing what the design looks like with you guys. We're currently trying to evaluate where all of our suppliers are going to come from and how the design impacts that, and then probably how we can design for manufacturing with something totally new like that. But we are looking at CNCs and their PCB layouts for heat management. Basically, they have this built-in heat sink that allows the air to there's holes on the other side of the PCB board that allows it to breathe a little bit better and have better heat management for all of those different features that we're adding. So we're evaluating this all in strides. But that stuff will go on to Webull there. So any questions about where we are with that, or any feedback that you guys have?
You've in last month's Hangout and different discussions, there's been comment about sharing information, sharing drawings, and so on. What format are you envisioning that being shared in?
We do our drawings in SolidWorks right now, and we set up a new file management system on Webull that works off of the idea of SolidWorks assemblies and subassemblies. So the idea is every single branch on the tree has its own part, and its own file is attached to it, and it shows the way that the bot is actually assembled, so that you can see how you build the product based on these different assemblies and how they connect to each other. So right now we just had set up that whole system, and we'll input all of the updated files into each of those branches and nodes while we finalize the mechanical design and different aspects like that. So currently the assembly has the whole assembly, and then each part.
Yeah, you can look at it now on Webull. If you look for the Open Gigabot project on Webull, you can look at that design. It's not. We're still updating it, and there's just kind of preliminary layout there now. But yeah, it'll be the bottom of the trees will have a part drawing, and then as you work your way up, you'll have subassemblies into eventually the whole thing, and then that way it can help you understand how it's built, like Katie was saying, and how you could modify or fix or change things if you needed to. So we just wanted to keep that part open source, and I believe in addition to drawings, they'll also have the SolidWorks file there as well, if I'm correct.
Yeah, definitely. What file format would be best for you, Sean? What would you prefer?
Well, having the SolidWorks files would, of course, be good. As far as a format that probably has the widest number of people that can view it, to me, like everything that we do is pretty much done with PDF files as far as actual drawings. like 2D type drawings or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So I would just jump in and say that you should probably export the drawings as PDF, but also the solid models as IGIS. Either IGIS, something like IGIS is a kind of a universal, so that anybody else with a 3D modeling program can open it, and that holds all the parametric information too. So I think whoever just exported them last time, I think probably Levi, you could just ask him to do it in multiple formats. It's pretty trivial.
yeah, yeah. For each part, we could have a drawing in PDF form. It would be very easy to view. And then either a step or an IGIS. Both of those are kind of universal, but we can investigate which one would be best. And in addition, we could have an up-to-date solid part file there too. But the step or the IGIS would probably be most applicable to most people, especially if you're using Inventor or another CAD software. They can take step files and IGIS too, I believe.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, so we will let you guys know when that documentation goes up. We're trying to get it up as soon as possible, and we're just trying to organize right now how we want to do the layout. We want to make sure that right out from the beginning of the project we're doing things the right way before we get too far down the road in any type of system. But yeah, so any more questions or feedback that you guys want to share? Well, there's always the community hangout community page, and so if you ever want to post any relevant links or things that remind you of the project, or links to your work and what you're doing and what you hope to be doing with 3D printing, we'd love to see it. So just keep an eye out. I'm sure you guys have seen the updates as I've been exploring the tool, and we'll keep you posted on where we're at with things.
Great. Congrats on your award, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about it. We only have a week left before the rest of the votes are tallied up, so if you want to share that link, hopefully we can win community choice. But we have some pretty stiff competition, so it's just an honor to be recognized. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys all have a great night. Thanks for joining. And again, I'm super excited about having you guys involved in this product development with us.
Great, thanks.
Great.
And you mentioned something about possibly having some videos available from some of the prototyping work that Patrick's been working on and so on?
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, there's one more thing I can share. Patrick sent a video of his filament feeding concept, so I can share that right now.
Oh, yeah.
Let me just pull it up. Okay. Are you guys seeing that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So here's
It might be laggy, but we'll see.
Is there music? No, there should be.
Oh, look at it go.
It's so awesome. Yeah. Oh, the video's buffering. Sorry, guys.
One.
It's a little shaky, Patrick. I think you need to improve your video camera skills.
I apologize. I'm trying to unwind it and hold the camera at the same time. But yeah, from that video, hopefully you can see how smooth the system works, and I'm really optimistic. Although one note is that the mounts have changed to go in between the bars, so they won't look exactly like that, but the function will be basically the same.
That's so awesome. Yeah, Sean, that's actually a really good point, though. That's good for me to know that you guys want to see videos and that content is useful. So we'll do more of that. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you have a lovely evening. Again, thanks for joining. I think we actually have another team member watching right now remotely. He just texted me, but he says hi. So I hope you guys have a great night.
Thank you. You as well.
Thanks. Bye.